Hello and welcome to the final whistle with me, Daniel Waterson, looking back at Saturday's 2-2 draw with Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. In this episode, James and myself discuss the match. There's post-match reaction from Neil Lennon and Ofir Marciano. But first, let's remind ourselves of the action with Hibs TV's Cliff Pike and John Stevens.
Lovely ball out by Allen to Stevenson, far edge of the 18-yard box. Stevenson hits one left-footed chance for Hibs early on in the game. It's in the back of the net. And Hibs are a goal ahead in the first minute of the game. And it's Florian Camberry again that's got the goal. What a terrific start from Hibs. Florian Camberry said a few weeks ago he's got plenty of experience of playing on artificial surfaces in Switzerland and Germany as Scott Allen floats the ball in. It's a free header for Hibs, it's a goal. Ryan Porteous puts Hibs 2-0 ahead after just 9 minutes. Free header for the Hibs centre half, John. Stevie Clark will be absolutely livid with his defenders for that. Allen's corner was floated into the edge of the 6-yard box. Ryan Porteous rose unchallenged to nod the ball into the net beyond Jamie McDonald. Really poor defending from Kelly, but I'm sure Hibs won't care too much about that. 2-0 up after 9 minutes. Kelly with a real spell of pressure here at the moment. Well played out in that edge of the 18-yard box. Jones it is, gets the shot. What a finish that is from Jordan Jones. Ofir Marciano, full stretch, couldn't get there as Jones plants that one right in the postage stamp corner. And after 56 minutes, it's Kelly 1, Hibs 2 in the home side. John right back in the game. Right footed up against Ofir Marciano. The keeper saves, it breaks back to Pike. And he scores from the rebound. And Ofir Marciano again, so unlucky from a penalty kick. He makes the save, John. And the ball spun back into the path of Chris Boyd, who scrambles it over the line, and Kelly back on level terms. But Hibs, really, John, no one to blame but themselves. Being 2-0 up, they took the foot off the gas, they've sat back. Kelly have come at us since about the 25th minute of this game, and you probably can't grudge the fact that they're back on level terms. They've been on top for the last 35-40 minutes.
Right, James, I don't know where to start with that one. I suppose the question to begin, 2-0 up after 10 minutes, it finishes 2 each. Do you see that as 2 points dropped, or given the way the match panned out, a point gained?
I said this at the end of the game, I'm not really sure how to say it. I mean, I suppose in a way it feels like we've gained a point. We were under siege in that second half. Really actually, to be honest, from about half an hour into the game, when Kelly actually started coming alive, we were under siege. And I think if you go an hour giving away that many chances and still getting a point, it's a good result. But I think given the way the game started, we should probably be pretty disappointed with the final result. I thought the first 20 minutes of the game could have been 3-0 up, and could have been out of sight at that point. But I think to let Kelly back into the game in the way we did was poor, and I'm sure the players will be made to know that.
I kind of feel the opposite. I think, given the way that the match panned out, although I suppose you're right to an extent, you think McLaren, he forced a really good save from McDonald at 2-0, Camberry's chance towards the end of the first half. But a sign of character to see out the game for the point. And as I said to you after the match, for all Kelly had so much pressure, so many shots, the 2 goals he scored were a goal of the season contender and a rebound from a missed penalty.
Yeah, and I mean, full credit to Jordan Jones, because it's an absolute raker. We saw Ofir Marciano again today make 2 ridiculous saves. There was absolutely no way, him, 3 goalkeepers on the line to stop that. It's a great goal, and with the penalties, he's unlucky because he does save it as well. And it just so happens to run right back into the path of Boyd, he's always going to score that. But it's those kind of fine margins that kind of got Kelly a point today, and quite possibly kept us getting a point today as well.
Alright, so let's take it right back to the start. One change for Hibs. Ryan Porteous comes in for Paul Hanlon. Congratulations to Paul Hanlon becoming a father. The change is obviously forced upon us, but no issues with Ryan Porteous coming into the team, and no surprise to see the same lineup as last week.
No, I mean, the way sort of Ryan played at Ibrox, I think, shows that he's ready for this level of football. He probably still needs a little bit more experience in playing at this level and playing at this pace and playing at this standard of the game. But yeah, I mean, I thought today would be sort of a good experience for him coming in against a team. I suppose in theory against Rangers we were expecting to be under the cosh for a lot of the game. Here perhaps not as much. I thought he handled himself really well. I thought he was quite harshly booked in the first half. I think he was the first man booked in the game.
Yeah.
So I thought, given how many bookings there were in the second half, it was possibly slightly harsh to book him that early on. But yeah, he did well, and I mean, we performed brilliantly against Aberdeen at home last week. So don't think there's any reason to change the team.
Yeah. So the game kicks off. The start of the season we were notorious slow starters, but nothing slow about this. Lewis Stevenson picks up the ball on the left hand side, drills a kind of shot, come cross, deflects, falls perfectly for the second week running, just falls nicely to Canberra. Good finish, and I don't know, dream start.
It is. I mean, I think everybody sort of had the same reaction where we kind of looked along the line waiting for a flag, because I mean, obviously we haven't seen it back, and kind of from the angle we were sitting at, we're almost more in the what was the Hibs half in that first half, so it's kind of difficult to actually tell where the line was. But yeah, I mean, Canberra again showing how quickly he can react. Did it last week against Aberdeen, does it here again. Very good finish. Make sure he sort of puts it right out the way, Jamie McDonald. And yeah, I mean, 28 seconds I think they said the goal was after. Must be one of the fastest goals this season, I think.
Yeah, again, we kind of thought, I think Aberdeen scored really quickly here in a game on telly earlier this season, but there can't be many. So from there the game kind of balanced out. Kelly were still a bit shell-shocked, misplacing a lot of passes. The crowd were getting kind of on their back a wee bit. 9th minute of the match, Hibs get a corner. Comes in, no one marking Ryan Porteous, Jamie McDonald in no man's land, and it's dream stuff for him. Yeah,
I mean, I must sort of confess I actually missed the goal. I was too busy sort of tweeting about what had actually led up to the corner, but I mean, Porteous, we've kind of seen how dangerous he can be from set pieces in pre-season or in the League Cup group stages. I think he got a couple against Arbroath.
Yeah, I think
he got a couple against. Yeah, both came from a corner. So I mean, he's obviously sort of a threat in the area. Great for him to get his first league goal for us, and sort of only kind of adding to his growing reputation.
And even then, for the 5 or 6 minutes beyond that, it's all Hibs. Another counter attack not long after. There's a shot that Boyle takes, and it drops to McLaren from about maybe 4 or 5 yards out.
Yeah.
He has absolutely no time to react to it, so it's just how's your luck with the bounce, and unfortunately for us it kind of just goes over the bar. Again, not long after that, McLaren has a shot that McDonald brings the save. I'll be honest, like you, my face was buried in the social media at this point. I couldn't keep up with the game, but it was all Hibs, and not a sign of what happened or how the game panned out after that.
No, I think the McLaren one he's really unlucky with. The ball almost kind of ricochets back to him, and it almost just kind of bounces off him rather than him, finishing it off. It's one of those where you kind of feel that maybe if it hits an inch lower on his knee, it probably goes in, or it comes off his thigh rather than his knee or whatever it is, it possibly goes in, because McDonald was kind of stranded on the other side of the goal. He wouldn't have got there. Second one again, it's good. I mean, McLaren does that well. He plays on the shoulder well. He gets around the back there. It's a kind of tight angle. He didn't really have a lot of options in the box. I think it's Canberra that flicks it on actually for him, so there's not too many options in the box.
There's no eyes.
So yeah, I mean, it's good save by McDonald. It's decent effort from Jerry McLaren, but it's one of those things where you kind of look back at the first half and go, well, we did actually miss quite a few chances in this game, and possibly could have swung it in our favour really early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not long after that. Steve Clarke obviously has to change it. Hibs are running over the top of Kilmarnock. He switches Jordan Jones onto the other side. Malumbu seems to, at this point, be told to just go into the Hibs final third and just stay there, have a free roll, do whatever you want. The booking that you mentioned for Porteous comes after Jordan Jones gets his first good run away. And that was kind of it. That was from then on. It seemed to be all Kelly. I've got here written down. Boyd had half a chance with a header.
Yeah.
Power had a shot that went well over. We're half an hour into the game, and Hibs, they're not it's at this point it's not quite under the cosh, but you got the sense that Hibs kind of weren't playing at their best at this point. A lot of misplaced passes, and Kelly were just starting to kind of grow in confidence and maybe sniff blood.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that was very telling when Jones hits the post. It gets that kind of big reaction from the crowd. Regardless of how many fans you're playing in front of every week, you sort of create kind of half chances like that when you're a goal, 2 goals behind. It always tends to galvanise them. It gets them back on the side. And I think that's kind of just exactly what happened. Is Killie have a couple of decent half chances. They grow in confidence in the game. We, I think, allowed them to get back into it. I know Cliff Pike mentioned on commentary that we struggled at times to sort of get to grips with the pitch and get to grips with the surface. I think it's almost like a really good sort of leveller in this case, where Killie, they were kind of they knew, or they were aware of to take an extra second to get that touch on the ball, and maybe make that 5-yard pass a little bit harder, a little bit firmer to make sure it gets there. The ball was sort of bouncing off us a lot. We weren't keeping it under control particularly well, and it was allowing Killie sort of half a chance to nick in and create further up the pitch, which to be fair to them, they did. Particularly sort of towards the end of the half. Yeah,
I'll go off on a tangent here and kind of agree with you on the pitch. There was moments, second half especially, balls were getting played towards the Hibs box, and there was one where we all kind of sat back. He'd overplayed the long ball.
Yeah.
The ball actually seemed to spin back when it landed. No Hibs players expecting that, but yet it was the Killie attacker that was alert, almost as if they knew a moment in the second half where Ollie Shaw's put through 1-on-1, but the pitch seems to slow the movement of the ball down. And for me, I've never really had an issue with artificial pitches, but if that's the effect they're going to have on a game, then to me it's not a good thing that this is top flight Scottish football.
I mean, I think artificial pitches I think are great. I think especially in a country like Scotland, where a lot of games do tend to sort of fall foul of the weather. I think they are in all probability the way forward. If you look at what I would say are kind of comparative countries in the likes of Scandinavia, and I think even sort of Central Europe, places like Holland and Belgium, they use artificial pitches quite a lot. But I think they have to be up to some kind of standard. And I know we've had Brendan Rodgers kind of having a go at the pitch here a couple of weeks ago, and everybody I think had the same reaction with, well, they got beat, obviously he's going to blame the pitch. I kind of can see his point now. I don't think in any way, shape or form the pitch was the reason that we only ended up with a point today.
No, I agree with that.
I think there were other sort of factors at play, but I don't think it helped. And even sort of being down close to the actual pitch just before the game, you could look at it. At parts, it looks kind of barren. If you ever play five-a-side, you're used to getting home and emptying a million little sort of black rubber pellets out of your shoes, and you're finding them for days after it. This one it didn't really seem to have, particularly in sort of the bottom right-hand corner just where we came in, it didn't really seem to have a lot of them there at all. Or any that I could see. I mean, even just looking down at the touchline now,
it's totally patchy now. Looking at it,
it is very patchy. It looks, like I say, certain points it looks really barren. But I mean, like I say, it's easy to sort of sit here and say, well, the pitch was the reason we got beat. But I think that would be, kind of misinforming.
That's true.
It wouldn't be true. I mean, didn't get beaten, drew, but it's one of those that kind of feels like a defeat almost.
So to get back to the action in the first half, I've kind of listed off a few Killie half chances, but they had the possession. But for all they had those half chances, it's Hibs that create the next clear-cut opportunity. Flo Canberry, it falls to him just perfectly from maybe about 8-9 yards out. 3 goals in 4 or 5 games, whatever it is, full of confidence. You would really expect him to hit the back of the net. Good save by McDonald, but he should have been scoring it.
Yeah, and I think that's the one that kind of we'll be looking back at over the next week or next few days before the game against Hamilton in midweek, where we were looking at it and going, that would have been the one that killed it off. It was kind of similar in a way sort of to the game we played here earlier in the season on Halloween, where we get the third goal late on when Killie had 1 or 2 really good chances in that game, and it just kills it off for us. But yeah, it's just a very, very animated Michael Stewart over there. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I mean that's the one that I think we'll be looking back on. In midweek before the Hamilton game and going that one. If we put that away, it's probably game over from our point of view, and we can sort of settle into a rhythm. Let Kilmarnock come forward, and I mean, because at that point, if we score that, they need a goal before half time to stand any chance.
Yeah.
And sort of the likes of Boyle and Allen and McLaren, in theory, got enough players going forward that as Killy push forward, we can hit them on the counter attack.
Well, I thought, and I think I made the point to you at 2-0. I says we've got the perfect setup. I mean, we've seen it at Ibrox. We've got such a strong midfield and pace that we could have been clinical in the counter attack today, but that was kind of the last of the chances, certainly until well into the second half. But even before half time, I think there was a trademark Ryan Porteous block to deny Rory McKenzie when he was through. Jordan Jones hit the post, the sign of things to come, with a great effort from distance. And by the time the half time whistle comes, it's a welcome sound, and you wonder then if there would be a temptation from the management to change it and want to shore up things for the second half.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised to see that there weren't any changes at half time. I would have thought Neil Lennon might have put Marvin Bartley on in that midfield just to shore things up. I thought Yusuf Malumbu, I think, I don't mean any sort of disrespect to Kilmarnock in this, because they've proven today and over the past couple of weeks that they are a very good side, but you kind of look at Yusuf Malumbu and you kind of think he's really sort of too good for this team.
Malumbu and Jordan Jones.
Malumbu and Jordan Jones. I mean, Jordan Jones today, I think he got man of the match from the Tannoy announcer, and I thought he deserved it. He was very good today, very quick, very skillful. Obviously, he's got a great shot on him. Malumbu I just thought was fantastic today, and you can tell that he's played however many 100 games down south, and he's played at the top level before. I think we kind of needed something to counter that. I thought Marvin Bartley might have been the answer, and keep it as it is in the second half. And I think sort of within about 30 seconds, Killy already have a corner. They created a half decent chance. It was just really, a sign of things to come.
More reaction with James and myself shortly, but let's hear the post-match thoughts of Neil Lennon speaking with Cliff.
That was a game of two halves almost, and at the end of the day, either side could have won it.
Yeah, we started off brilliantly, and we missed two really good chances to make it four. Kilmarnock came on very strong towards the end of the first half, and we didn't deal with the physicality, and certainly the pitch. The pitch is impossible. So it would have sounded like sour grapes from me if we'd have lost. But I'm delighted that we've come away with a point. I feel for the players. I don't understand why Kilmarnock are playing. The record is so good. It's just impossible to play football. The players are falling over. They don't water the pitch, which they should. It's dry as a bone. So they have won 7 in a row here, and I can understand that. So I'm delighted that we've come away with at least a point. Could have got more. Maybe could have lost the game. So we'll come away with that. Plus the diabolical refereeing decision again from Kevin Clancy. He just makes things up as he goes along.
It was unfortunate, the penalty incident. The penalty kick or not, we didn't really get that good a view of it, but Ofir Marciano was unfortunate. He got a great stop on Chris Boyd's penalty, but the rebounds just don't seem to go his way. No,
I mean, he's in brilliant form, and one of the main reasons why our recent form has been so good. So yeah, I mean, he looks a top class goalkeeper, and he had to be today. I just felt we didn't play the pitch as well as we should have second half. We should have turned Kilmarnock a lot more. We still try and play football. We give them the instructions, half time, just turn them, put it in the corners, play it like a rugby game if you want, because it's impossible to play. Unless it's watered, it's impossible. It's so dry and bumpy, and it suits them. So we have to deal with the pitch, we have to deal with the opposition, of course we have to deal with an appalling refereeing decision again.
You'd be pleased, however, with the way the team started the game. We passed the ball around, cut Kilmarnock open at will in that opening 20 minutes. Yeah, we started off great. Delighted to get a goal from a set player from Ryan as well. Very, very pleased. And then really we should have killed the game off. Jamie's missed a great chance, and Flo should score. But with the way Kilmarnock have been playing recently, 2-0 is never enough, and I thought we should have done better with the first goal. But that summed us up second half. We were very, very passive with our defending, not aggressive enough. But maybe the pitch plays a part in that as well. And then of course they get a penalty, which for me is not a penalty. It is a difficult scoreline though when you're 2-0 up. If you get the third goal, you're probably an easy streak, but if you lose one, you're then pressed and you want to sit back and hold what you've got, or it is a tough scoreline, and Kelly played well in the second half as well, to credit them.
Yeah, they did. They played better than us. I was disappointed with the second half. I didn't think we matched their intensity. I thought some of them dropped the heads a little bit. I've let them know about that, but I'm also let them know that I'm very, very pleased to come away with a point from a very difficult venue at this stage of the season.
A tough one ahead on Wednesday night, Hamilton. We didn't play particularly well against them at Easter Road the last time that they visited us. Again, we'll be looking to improve upon that result.
Yeah, Hamilton were excellent second half against us. I thought we were very good at New Douglas Park. We should have won the game, we didn't. It's important we win the game now, if we want to keep the momentum going. We'll see how results go today. Hearts go to Rangers, Celtic Aberdeen tomorrow. But I'll take a point after that today.
Malumbu, from maybe about the 15-20 minute mark onwards, reminded me of Scott Allen last week in the second half, where the difference was that Aberdeen had to afford Allen the space. They had to leave bodies forward because they were chasing the game. When we were 2-0 up, Malumbu, every time he picked up the ball, every time Jones picked up the ball, you knew something was going to happen. You knew a creative outlet was about to make a chance.
And I think it was just the fact that the Kilmarnock fans knew that as well. As every time somebody got the ball in midfield, it was get it to Jones. As soon as they lost the ball, it was Malumbu who went and won it back. Those are the two sort of key men for Killie. I don't really think we did enough to keep them quiet.
No. You've already mentioned second half kicks off within 30 seconds. Kelly get a corner. That was kind of the pattern for the second half. Kelly attack. Again, I'm going to go off on a tangent. Hibs defended well today. Kelly, the wave after wave attack, the defence would deal with it well, whether it leads to a corner or just a poor clearance that invites another attack. But it's not a clear-cut chance that opens a scoring, anything like that. It's an absolute stunning finish for Jones.
It's an absolute raker, and I think that's the thing is, what did you say, 16 shots that Kilmarnock had?
It was 20.
20 shots, with 16 the corners.
Yes.
Yeah, 20 shots that Kilmarnock had in that game. I can't really remember too many of them being inside the box.
No.
A lot of them were from distance. Marciano makes a really good save from Malumbu in the second half, and then another good save about 2 minutes later
from the resulting corner.
From the resulting corner, he makes another. Again, it's Malumbu on the turn. Another really good stop, but even that's some 18-20 yards. So I can't properly sort of remember.
Our issue today was just clearing our lines. We weren't
it was almost
body.
as if it was every single one of our clearances seemed to go to a Kilmarnock player, and when we kind of stopped doing that and tried to pass the ball out in defence, Killie were pushed far too far at the pitch to try and do that out. So we're losing the ball in bad areas. But like you say, I thought Darren McGregor was probably our best player today. I thought he was very solid. I don't think at any point he looked like he was going to give anything away.
Him just mopping everything up, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, it was the feeling.
He was almost playing the role today that Paul Hanlon usually plays. He was sort of playing in behind Ambrose and Porteous effectively, and sweeping up anything that was coming through. Yeah.
So Jones gets the goal. It's just Hibs kick off and it just carries on the exact same way. Pick up ball, drive forward. They get a free kick within, I think it must have been within a couple of minutes, maybe even within a minute of the goal. I think it's Mackenzie or Jones who's clean through. Ambrose wipes him out right in the edge of the box. For me, without seeing it back, Effie was possibly lucky to stay in the park for it. I don't know if there was a defender covering.
Yeah, I suspect what's kind of swayed Kevin Clancy on that is I think McGregor and Porteous are
coming over.
They're almost kind of level with Ambrose, so it's not last man. It's also not in the box, which is one of those that I think refs kind of look at as if he's maybe in the box, then it possibly is a red card. But the fact that he's I think he was just outside the D or just inside the D at that point. I think a yellow was probably fair, but you were kind of fearing for Effie in that second half with Jones running at him.
Yeah, Jones was running riot on him. But the free kick's poor from Boyd. Hits off the ball, bounces up. Yeah, again, there's nobody there for that second ball in the edge of the box. I can't remember who gets the shot away. I've not seen it back, but you've got a couple of messages to say it wasn't a penalty. Neil Lennon clearly didn't think it was a penalty.
Yeah, I think again, without seeing it back, and it's difficult to say this without seeing it back. there's this, I mean, Porteous he turns his back. It's clearly not a deliberate handball. I don't know kind of what part of the arm it hits. It definitely doesn't sort of hit him in the forearm. It looks like it hits him in the elbow. There's some suggestion that the ball might have hit him in the hip and come up, in which case, you kind of look at it and go, well, that's possibly not a penalty. You kind of look at it and go, well, he's half a yard away or whatever it is when the ball gets hit. Is it too close to be given a penalty? But again, it's kind of coming back to, it's talking about the pitch as well. It's not the reason that we drew this game today, and it's not the reason that we've got a point rather than 3 points today, because you kind of feel that even if that doesn't get given, Killie are putting under so much pressure that they possibly would have scored anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see the penalty back, and I mean, kind of see what exactly kind of provokes the reaction that Neil Lennon gave.
Great save from Marciano.
It was a very good save from Marciano, because it's a good penalty by Boyd. It looks like it's going right in the bottom corner, but again, it's kind of just our luck today that Marciano saves it, and maybe on another day, the way he saves it, it goes behind for a corner. This one falls right back into the path of Chris Boyd, who's 3 yards out with the entire goal team at. He's not going to miss.
Of course not. No, and I mean, at this point, Hibs are just rattled. We're making mistakes. We can't find passes. But something really bizarre for me happens in the second Killie equalise. Killie dropped back and straight from the kick-off.
It was almost like they were sort of happy with a point, and they were
bizarre.
quite happy to walk away from this game with a point, where at that point they were probably on top and they probably should have been pushing for a winner, and I think that kind of helped in a way that they dropped off that quickly, is it gave us a chance to, not to settle, because again, I think we did struggle to kind of settle in that game. We did struggle to play on that on the pitch, and struggle to get to grips with it, but it gave us maybe sort of 5 minutes where the attacking wasn't relentless. It gave us 5 minutes to sort of breathe, because you felt if Killie had just come flying back out of the blocks from kick-off, we might have struggled.
Oh yeah, the crowd were right behind them as well, and it's probably good fortune for us that they chose to do it. It didn't stop the chances. We've kind of touched on the Malumbu double. We kind of touched on Malumbu's effort already. A corner came in, really poorly dealt with by Hibs. I think it was McGinn goes to try and kind of glance it out as opposed to just hoof it away. Malumbu picks it up. I think it takes a deflection, and it's an absolutely stunning stop from Marciano.
It actually looks like it takes 2 deflections. It's one of those where he almost looks like he changes direction in mid-air. And the Kilmarnock fans in front of us, one of them jumped up and actually almost knocked my laptop over because he just thought it was in. It's a brilliant save from Marciano, and then from the resulting corner it gets cleared to Malumbu again. This one doesn't take a deflection, but it's still a very good save. We've sort of eulogised almost about Ofir Marciano over the past 5-6 games, because he's had at least one absolutely ridiculous save in each one of them, but again, he's continuing that run of form with 2 brilliant saves in this, and 3, I suppose, if you count the penalty as well, which was a very good save.
That was I think in terms of Killie, it's all pressure without creating huge amounts. I think Jones had a decent chance that he put wide, but the Hibs looked kind of a little bit more reassured, possibly because Kilmarnock started to sit back at that point. We had our own chances as well towards the end. That one that we've already mentioned with Shaw was put through 1-on-1. For me, I think the pitch slowed the ball down. He hits it into the side netting, and then in injury time, Shaw had another really good chance to float a ball over. Canberra was completely unmarked, just couldn't find him, and come injury time, both teams seemed quite content with a point. Nobody was taking risks.
Yeah, I think it was another thing we sort of laughed at, where there's a kind of loose ball that runs through to Jamie McDonald, and he does that thing where he doesn't pick it up.
Goes down. He
goes down and he sort of rolls it out, and just kind of plays with it. And nobody in a Hibs shirt was going to close him down. No. It was kind of that bizarre thing where you kind of thought, well, why are they not pushing up the pitch and trying to get a winner here, because they were well in the ascendancy. But I suppose from our point of view, delighted with that at that stage. Well,
it's a point we said before the game, would have been quite happy with a point given Kelly's form.
Yeah, Kilmarnock are a good side, and again, we've talked about how good a job Steve Clarke's done since he's come here, and that's just exactly it. He's been fantastic.
Malumbu and Jones were
Malumbu and Jones
very impressive.
Very impressive today. They were kind of, I was trying to think outside maybe Celtic and Rangers who sort of impressed me that much this season. Possibly Aberdeen when we played them
at Pittodrie
in December were very good. I can't really think of like another sort of example where I've thought this team's a decent, really good outfit, and those are 2 or 3 really good
Louis
players.
Molt's individual
Louis
display
Molt
Easter
against,
Road.
yeah, he was really good that day. And to be fair, like, even sort of Keeper that day was really good. Yeah, possibly Motherwell as well in that game, but yeah, there's not been many that season. So I mean, you kind of have to say fair play to Kilmarnock for the way I think they started the season quite poorly as well. But the way they've responded's been really impressive, and full credit to Steve Clarke for being able to sort of coach performances like that out of them.
Yeah, well, we kind of fully expect them to go on and take that final top 6 position now. But with regards to ourselves, at the time of recording, I think we're bang on 3 o'clock, so kick-off will just be taking place at Ibrox at the moment. We're 4 behind Rangers, we're 10 ahead of Hearts, so either way we're either gaining on Rangers or we're stretching our gap over Hearts. Celtic play Aberdeen tomorrow, so not the worst weekend to drop points.
It's not, and I think that's one of the things you kind of have to take away from this is at least we kind of got a point from it, because at times in that second half it looked like it could have been worse with the fixtures that were going on. A couple of results going awry, you may be in a slightly worse off position. I think with the fixtures that are going on today, obviously, in a few hours we'll know the outcome of those. One way or another, I think it'll be a good point for us. Depending how you look at that, whether it is stretching our lead or closing the gap on even slightly on Aberdeen and Rangers.
There's no rest. Next up's Hamilton Accies coming to Easter Road on Wednesday. On paper, given Accies form, given Hibs form, we should be looking at a comfortable home win, but we thought that the first time Hamilton came to us.
And I mean, this is a Hamilton team, at that point who I think had actually started the season quite well. At this point, they're fighting for their lives at the bottom, so that, it's not going to be an easy game against them. I mean, I watched the game against Rangers last week, and I think if they defend like that against us, we should be okay. But at the same time, we've seen already this season that they are a good team going forward. I think it's one of those games where we might kind of look back at the end of the season at the away game in November we played them at in New Douglas Park as one where it was 2 points dropped rather than a point gained, because I thought we should have been out of sight in that one. But it's a game on paper where you look at it and go, well, we should win this and we should win it comfortably. But that's never, not always the case. We still have to turn up. After that, we get, I think, a break of about 9 or 10 days before we play Hearts. So, at the same time, you're probably looking at a team of players who are possibly not quite 100% set yet, who should be sort of playing their way into a derby team. Sell-out night under the lights, Easter Road on a Friday evening, which I'm sure would be a nice quiet affair in Edinburgh. On a Friday night. But yeah, I mean, look, like I say, on paper we shouldn't be sort of looking at the Hamilton game and having any kind of doubts over what the result is going to be whatsoever. We still have to turn up on the night though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's us getting ahead of ourselves thinking about the derby. So
exactly.
That's probably where the experience of Neil Lennon and Gary Parker can come in to keep these players' heads focused on matches like this. And I mean, they've lost Greg Docherty. Who's the one that they lost to Aberdeen? Devlin.
He was injured.
So it should be a chance for creative players. But do you expect Hamilton to play kind of 10 men behind the ball? They didn't against Rangers.
They didn't.
Probably should have.
Well, I mean, you say that. It made for a very entertaining viewing.
True,
I didn't want to get up watching that game because I thought I might miss something. But yeah, I mean, I think Martin Kenny possibly have learned from his mistakes in that game, and I doubt they'll be coming out all guns blazing, especially against a team that's got the pace of Boyle and McLaren up front and the likes of Scott Allen in midfield. You kind of expect them to go 10 men behind the ball. At the same time, we expected that earlier in the season. That's not quite what happened. They're a funny team to kind of try and predict Hamilton, because they seem
the Barton of the SPFL.
Yeah, they really are. Like, it's hard to say whether they're going to turn up and we're going to make them look like Barcelona again, or they're going to turn up and have 11 men camped on the goal line. But like I say, I mean, I'm sure Neil Lennon and Gary Park will be drumming out the players that they do still have to turn up. It's not going to be an easy 3 points. It would be a good 3 points to get ahead of the derby.
And now let's hear from goalkeeper Ofir Marciano.
Ofir, that was a strange game, one that we probably could have been home and dry in after 25 minutes, but one that at the end of the day we maybe took a good point from.
Yeah, first of all, I can say that it's a good point, but for me and for the rest of the team, I think that we are a bit disappointed because we totally dominated in the first 20 minutes, and I think that we just lost patience because when you lead 2-0 and you start such a good form, so you need to keep and hold the ball and move the ball and just, as you say, kill the game. And we didn't do it, and that's why we let Kilmarnock go back to the game.
2-0 up after 10 minutes, started the game on fire. Probably could have had another couple of goals after that, but I think at 2-0, when you're 2-0 up, there's maybe that little bit of thought that we can control the game from here, and we maybe took our foot off the pedal a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm not talking about the chances that we had, because we play well, because we dominate, because we move the ball, and as soon as we stop to doing that, you see Kilmarnock get confidence and try to create chances, and this is what get them back to the game. Just need to stick with the good things that we did today and move to the next game.
If we look at the goal, the Kilmarnock goals, the first goal, sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say, that was a good strike. You just about got there, but not. You looked a bit unhappy that you hadn't quite got to that shot, the first one.
Yeah, because he actually kicked it well, just good spin of the ball, landed in top corner, but I did a big step and push for the ball. I know I can't say that I can save everything, but I expect for myself maybe to save those kind of ball, because this is the winning saves. But okay, you need to see that in the video to see what I can do better. But it's just great goal, and really I appreciate it.
The penalty kick, controversial. The manager was very upset about it. He got himself sent to the stand. The pictures that we've seen, don't think Ryan Porteous could have done very much to get his arm out of the way. How did you see it?
First of all, the ball didn't go to the goal area, so the ball goes wide. So I don't think that you can judge that it's a penalty. And second of all, we don't have time, as you say, don't have time to react. He just did it natural. It's not like he tried to block the ball. So I think that is not a penalty, but I never talk about the refs. They are human, and I think the end of the year is just balanced. So today it's cost us, but unlucky.
You were unfortunate with the penalty kick. Made a very, very good save from Chris Boyd, but the rebound just didn't go your way.
Yes, I save it well, go down well, but in this pitch, probably if it's normal grass, I have more time to get up. In this pitch, you just slide because it's Astro, and I don't have the grip to get up fast. And again, it's unlucky. You need to live with that. Okay.
Hamilton Accies on Wednesday night at Easter Road. The last time we played them at Easter Road, we lost 3-1. Not one of our best performances of the season. We'll be looking to put that right on Wednesday.
Yeah, sure. Everyone remember the last game, what happened, and this is what happened. When we are not in the mood, where we are not in full prepared for the game, and I think this is something that has changed recently. And we take a day off tomorrow, rest and recover. Just on Monday, we're just thinking about Hamilton game on Wednesday, that it's really super important for us.
So that'll do us for this week's episode. Subscribe now to Radio Hibs through SoundCloud or iTunes to ensure you never miss a show. Extended highlights from Saturday are now available, and indeed from all this season's other games, as well as a huge archive of other classics on Hibs TV. Next up is Hamilton at Easter Road on Wednesday. Tickets are available online and from the ticket office, and the match is being broadcast live on Hibs TV for all international subscribers. My thanks to James Delaney as always for joining me. Thanks for listening, and join us again midweek for the aftermath from Hamilton.